All right, so this is for my MTTS 1, 2, and 3. To get to my presentation, you'll go to the Google Doc that's provided. It gives a short explanation of what this is. So to start out, you're going to click the link here that's hyperlinked to mindmeister.com. And it's my presentation that goes with fair use, Creative Commons, digital divide, cyberbullying, and acceptable use policies. So I already have it up and it's all set. All you have to do is hit play. And so it starts out with the main topic, which is MTTS 1, 2, and 3. And so there it is. And then the next one. So the first main topic is legal issues. The subtopic is fair use. So fair use is part of Section 107 of the Copyright Act. It promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. So for the 4 factors that are the fair use policy is the purpose and character of your use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount of substantiality of the portion taken, and the effect of the use upon the potential market. So in simpler terms, some items can be used without problems of copyright if used in the right context, such as music, internet, and/or parodies. So in your classroom, you can explain that everybody's ideas are unique and credit should always be given. So if a child says something and someone else repeats it, explain to them that you don't want someone else saying what you said without your own credit. And then you can also use, no matter how much of the idea or work you use, it still needs to be credited, even if you're just quoting a TV show. So if they're doing a paper or something, make sure that they always cite it, even if it is something that they saw on Hannah Montana on TV. As an activity, you can read a book and then ask questions that require quotes. So then you can teach them on an elementary level how to cite. The next subcategory is Creative Commons. So it's a way to prevent your work and thoughts from being illegally copyrighted online. It allows information to be shared on the internet. People can share on the internet without copyright laws being broken. Having a Creative Commons license allows others to view your work and use your work without copyright laws being broken. And then there are 6 types of licenses. The first one is called Attribution by or CC BY. This license lets others distribute, remix, tweak, and build upon your work, even commercially, as long as they credit you for the original creation. The second one is Attribution Share Alike, CC BY SA. This license lets others remix, tweak, and build upon your work, even for commercial purposes, as long as they credit you and license their new creations under the identical terms. The third one is Attribution No Derivatives, CC BY ND. This license allows for redistribution, commercial and non-commercial, as long as it is passed along unchanged and in whole with credit to you. So they can use it as long as all the credit goes to you. The next one is the Attribution Non-Commercial CC BY NC. This license lets others remix, tweak, and build upon your work non-commercially, and although their new works must also acknowledge you and be non-commercial, they don't have to license their derivative works on the same terms. The next one is Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike, CC BY NC SA. This license lets others remix, tweak, and build upon your work non-commercially as long as they credit you and license their new creations under the identical terms. So they can use your work and they can add to it, fix it however they want it to, but the license has to be yours. And then only allow others to download your works and share them with others as long as they credit you, but they can't change them in any way or use them commercially. Which is attribution, non-commercial, no deriv, CC BY, NC ND, which is the last one. It was created in 2001 and has had over 350 million licensed works by 2009. So in your classroom, you can watch a parody on YouTube and explain how it's okay that they did this because they gave the original source credit. You could also find different technologies that show symbols for each license. Each license type has a different symbol, which can be found in my sources. And then another way to teach them how this works is play a remix of a song that contains original lyrics, but another artist has contributed to it. So there's original song, and then there's also a remix song. The next category are ethical issues. The first subcategory is digital divide. The digital divide is between race, gender, and economic class. On an adult level, the rich and educated are more likely to have access to technology. 62% of people in households making less than $30,000 a year use the internet, while in those making $50,000 to $74,999, that percentage jumped to 90%. So that means 90% of people that have make that much money a year have access to technology. So in your classroom, you can ask how many students have internet access at home. For the ones that don't, ask them how that has been a challenge for them, if it's been homework or just for fun. Another tip is give one group of students $1 to get candy from the vending machine and another $5. Have the groups compare how many things they each could get. This represents the digital divide, but on an elementary school level. And then you can also describe how with less resources you have less access to other resources. So less money, you have less of a chance to get things that you want, such as the internet. The next category is cyberbullying. So it's bullying that occurs through technology and not face-to-face interaction. It can occur over social media platforms, texting, emails, or other communication apps. Approximately 35% of students aged 11 to 14 experience cyberbullying in their lifetimes. So in an elementary school classroom, we're going to try to prevent that from happening and try to lower that number because they're still so young that they can be influenced. So you can teach them that it's not only painful for the person being bullied, but the cyberbully themselves could get in trouble with the law. Another way you could teach it to them is that it's preventable. If everyone keeps their unkind opinions and thoughts to themselves, it can all be changed, and work on self-awareness and self-regulation skills. So when they have the need to do this on the internet, have them think, how is the other person going to feel? Or, I don't need to put that out there, because it'll stick with them forever. If there's a sudden change in behavior, observe how much the student uses technology. So if there's a student that suddenly stops talking in class, is usually very interactive and fun, and they suddenly stop, try to notice how much they're using technology to see if it's cyberbullying or not. If you believe it is, you should suggest a parent-teacher conference. The last main issue, or the main topic, are social issues. The subcategory is acceptable use policy. So individual companies have their own acceptable, or their own AUP that states what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior on their website. The National Education Association suggests that an effective AUP contain the following 6 key elements: a preamble, a definition section, a policy statement, an acceptable uses section, an unacceptable uses section, and a violation/sanctions section. So for Amazon's, have that one here. As an example, you could use this one to show your class what an example is, because most people know what Amazon is. So it starts out by stating what an acceptable use policy is, what they will accept, how you cannot do any security violations, you cannot abuse their network, everything through that, how they will report or how they will enforce it, and how to report violations of the policy. So as it loads, so the Amazon example shows how important it is that we can, it is that we have these acceptable use policies so that every company can protect themselves from being copyrighted or just from having unacceptable items on their website. So they can also, in your classroom, you can discuss classroom rules and school rules so you can see what's acceptable in your classroom and then what's acceptable in the school, because what's acceptable in your classroom could be less strict or more strict than school rules. And lastly, every company has different rules and regulations similar to the different rules at home at school. So this is similar to the first tip, but have them make a Venn diagram to compare what's okay at school, what's okay at home, and what's similar, but then also have them do what's not acceptable, and then another one for consequences, so they can understand the severity of an acceptable use policy. And that is the presentation that I've given. My sources are on the Google Doc that I provided. They are all here. So if you want to look further into it, here's more information for it.